What up, World Way Team? Back at it again. Welcome to the episode. Today we're going back to a time before PlayStations, Xboxes, and Switches. When your gaming system fit in the palm of your hand, ran on AA batteries, and made you feel like a boss. We're talking about the Tiger Handheld Games. The cheap, simple, and surprisingly addictive little consoles that ruled the 80s and 90s. So I had several of these games because they were super cheap. I think I had a Street Fighter one. I had a Mario one, I think. I had a Madden one, I think, a football one or whatever. So I had plenty of these games, like I said, because they're cheap. And they were super fun, well ahead of their time. I think they came out before the Game Boy came out. And there were so many of those game systems, of those little handheld games. It was crazy. It was a crazy time. And like I said, you can buy them from pretty much anywhere at the time. I don't think they were more than like $12, $13 a piece. And they were hours of fun. So I'm going to talk about that. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Welcome to the start of Tiger. Tiger Electronics started in 1978 making toys. But by the mid-1980s, they hit gold with their LCD handheld video games. Each one was a single game built into its own device. No cartridges, no memory cards, no save, just instant action. They were simple, black LCD characters on a gray background with bright plastic shells and a few sound effects that would drive your parents crazy.
Dream of managing your own big league baseball team? Introducing Tiger's Baseball All-Stars from the Gamecock series. Pick your starting lineup.
Batting with
Here are real stats.
batting average .330.
And that's what made them awesome. They were portable, cheap, and perfect for kids who couldn't afford a Game Boy. So like I said, I had several of these. They were super cheap, which is why I had a couple of them. Sometimes I don't even remember where I got them from. They just was in my house or whatever. So they were super fun, and definitely got them because I couldn't afford a Game Boy. And I had several of them. It was fun in your pocket, and the graphics weren't great, but they were good enough in a time where there was not a lot to do, and you wanted to just sit back and play a video game for a while. So they were perfect for that kind of kid, and that was a kid like me. So I thoroughly enjoyed that time playing those games, even though the graphics were terrible. It's just entertaining for some reason. The golden era. By the early 90s, Tiger had a secret weapon. Licenses. They got rights to everything. Sonic the Hedgehog, Street Fighter, Power Rangers, X-Men, Batman, Terminator, Aladdin, you name it, they had it. Every major movie, show, or game ended up on a Tiger handheld. They were everywhere. Corner stores, Toys R Us, gas station, grocery, checkout aisles. And when you pulled one out in the school, everyone wanted a turn. Each one played differently, but the concept was the same. Tap left, tap right, smash attack, and pray your screen didn't fade into the sunlight. Those games were genius because, like I said, they were super cheap. They sold so many because they had... I don't understand how they could get licenses to everything. Anything you could think of in the 80s and 90s, they had a license to. They had all those... I think they even had a Home Alone game when that was big.
Home Alone fun with Tiger's new Home Alone 2 handheld game.
So any movie, cartoon, TV show, they had a license to. And I don't understand how they how they pulled that off. That was fucking crazy. And like I said, the games were super fun, even though they were simple and the graphics weren't that good. They was just super fun to play. I can still picture myself playing those games back in the day. The Bo Jackson double-sided legend. Now, one of the coolest Tiger handhelds ever made was the Bo Jackson dual game. On one side, football. Flip it over, baseball. 2 games in one. Bo Jackson was so popular that Tiger made him his own double-sided system. This was 1991. Bo was dominating both the NFL and the MLB, so it made perfect sense. It even had a unique design, 2 screens, 2 sets of buttons, and the slogan, Bo knows, right on the box. You could throw touchdowns, hit home runs, and feel like the most athletic kid on the block. All on 2 AA batteries. It was the most collectible Tiger games today, and the perfect example of how big the brand was in its prime.
Who knows baseball and football?
Who knows baseball?
Bo Jackson baseball and football. Either way you look at it, it's a winner. No one knows football and baseball better than Bo Jackson, and no one knows LCD video games better.
I remember that Bo knows dual side Tiger electronic game. I never had one, but my friend had one, and I played the shit out of that game. It was so fun, and I think it was the only one that was made like that. If you guys didn't know, Bo Jackson was everything in the early 90s. He played baseball, and he was good at it.
Called up to Kansas City this week, and in his first major league at bat, last year's Heisman Trophy winner faced the Chicago White Sox with Steve Carlton pitching. But it didn't make any difference to Bo.
And he played football, and he was awesome at it.
Buffalo and Miami in the East, and now the Raiders, can they stay with Kansas City, and can Denver stay with Bo Jackson? The answer is no. Bo has another.
And you didn't see that a lot, like ever. People playing two sports, and he played both sports simultaneously. Not simultaneously, one after the other or whatever. And like I said, he was good at both of them. So he had a terrible football accident which ended his football career.
Fortunately, in a sense, they didn't have to have him playing great football. There's a lot of other people there. Bo Jackson has some room. One man to beat, and from behind, Kevin Walker. The tackle had only the one leg to grab, and apparently Bo Jackson, shaken up a bit, has not gotten to his feet as yet. That was a 34-yard run by Jackson, who does not appear to be seriously injured and gets a big hand from this crowd. What a player.
But he still played baseball, and he hit the ball at the time harder and farther than anybody in baseball. And he was also known for breaking his bat over his leg.
And the 0-2. And Jackson strikes out. He just steps his bat. Looks like a twig, doesn't it? Looks like kind of a twig. You find it.
And he was just so strong and super popular back in the time. He even had the Pro Stars All-Star cartoon with Michael Jordan and Wayne Gretzky, starring him and those two, which came on Saturday on NBC.
Pro Stars. It's all about helping kids.
So Bo Jackson was huge, and that game, I'm pretty sure it sold a lot because he was that big back in the day. Why Tiger games were so popular? So why were they so big? Because they were accessible. Game Boy games were expensive. Tiger handhelds were around $15. You didn't need to swap games, charge anything, or carry cables. They were also portable. You can play them in a car, at school, at lunch, anywhere. And every model looked unique. Like collecting trading cards, but they beeped and flashed. They were the perfect mix of affordability and cool. And they made you feel like you were part of the video game world, even if you couldn't afford the consoles. That's what made them big, because kids that didn't have a lot of money, that couldn't afford a Game Boy, couldn't get a Nintendo, you can get one of these for like $12, $13. They sold huge because kids love video games. That's just a fact of life. And because they were so cheap, they sold so many. And I like the fact that they didn't make them all the same. They were all different colors, different designs, which made them unique. Like I said, it was like collecting fucking trading cards or whatever. They were an intricate part of the video game experience, in my opinion. If you didn't have one of those, then you weren't experiencing video games at the time. And they were huge. Everybody had one. The decline. But like every 90s toy, the magic didn't last forever. By the mid-90s, handheld technology took off. Game Boy was adding color, Sega had the Game Gear, and Tiger's one-game screen suddenly looked ancient. By the 2000s, the once mighty brand was fading fast. Tiger tried to evolve with things like Game.com and touchscreen handheld, but it was too little, too late. Still, for a decade straight, Tiger handhelds were everywhere, and every kid who grew up in that era still remembers that sound. So like everything, it had to come to an end. Well, not like everything, but a system like that wasn't going to last forever. People evolve, so they tried to evolve, but it was already too late. Not many people played the Game Gear because it was so expensive, but the Game Boy Color came out, and nobody wanted to go to those old Tiger games, which didn't evolve with graphics and stuff. So that's one of the major reasons why the decline happened. And it happened fast. And those kids grew up. Those kids didn't pass on those Tiger games to their kids. So the kids that played those games grew up, kids like me, and we found better things to play that we could afford. And those Tiger Handheld games weren't holding up anymore. So that caused a decline, and they just didn't really evolve with the times. Today, Tiger Handhelds are pure nostalgia. They weren't complex or high-tech, they were fun. They remind us of a time when you didn't need fancy graphics, just a little plastic screen and imagination. And that Bo Jackson duel game is proof that sometimes doing more with less can still make history. They may be outdated now, but back then, Tiger was the king of handheld gaming. That's gonna do it for the video. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Did you guys play Tiger games? If so, what games did you play? Did you enjoy them? You can be on anybody else's channel, and you decided to watch mine. There's only 24 hours in a day, and you gave me a couple minutes of your day. Time is very valuable. I hope I didn't waste yours. Like I said, remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Thank you guys for watching. Have a good one. I'll get you guys on the next one. You've been watching